Good morning. Welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. So this morning, I want to talk about some information that I've been reading, and boy, is it a doozy. It potentially is information that can turn the whole planet on its head. Seriously, it's just that explosive. So what I want to talk to you about is a book that I've been reading called The Wisdom Preserved in the Bible and Pyramids. And it's written by Connor McDarry. And so the first thing that was a mind-blowing revelation is that the Bible was actually stolen from the Gaelic people, which is the Irish people in antiquity, and it was stolen by Israel and Rome, initially by Rome, and it was perverted. It was perverted and turned into a tool for oppression, for population control, and mass brainwashing. And the interesting thing is that this Bible was written, by the Irish Magi priesthood of the sun. And the other thing that I found was interesting is if you take the word Israel, and we've talked about, and I'll just do a prelude here, is that we've talked about how there's so many words that mean the same thing, and that how words have been changed and modified to trick us into not knowing or having no recognition. But if you take the word Israel, you take out the S, you just move a couple letters around, and you put an N and a D on it, you get Ireland. Well, guess what? It was Ireland. So, I mean, I'm just like, wow, but so many words. So they called the original teachings of the Bible E-I-R-E, ire, like IRA, like IRA, E-I-R-A, excuse me, E-I-R-A, Irie is what they call it. And I was like, whoa, what? And they also say is that Jesus was never crucified. So this is where you get the Holy Grail from. This is a bloodline that's been going on all of this time. Jesus was not crucified. That most everything in the Bible is just an allegory. That Jesus, the crucifixion that they talk about, is that he had an awakening, that he went and he taught himself in all of the mystery schools. He went to Tibet, and it's already been coming out that Jesus traveled all around the world. But the pyramids were built by the Irish people. And the German bloodline, it comes from the Irish people, and the Phoenicians were the Irish people. The Phoenicians were not these sea-raiding people that were just like barbarous. These were the Celts. These people had already civilized the whole planet. This is where these old world structures come from. The Celtic people. And the Celts and the Scots, they're one family. The same people. So now it's really starting to make sense to me why my brother kept coming to me and telling me that I needed to uphold my family name. And so this is why I have just been digging and digging and digging. So, originally, they were the original Masons. They were the stonemasons, the Freemasons. All of that knowledge was taught from them. And they're an extremely, extremely old group of people. And the other very amazing thing is that Atlantis is just a made-up name to try to allude to the fact that there was a civilization that was highly advanced that sunk down into the water. Well, yeah, the island sunk, but all the people didn't, and it was the Celts. That's their stolen heritage buried in propaganda. Is that not some crap? So, we have all of these people that are living all over the planet that have this Northwest European DNA. You have your Scottish and your Irish. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Everybody comes from the Gaelic people. that they had settlements in Hallstatt that they've been excavating, and they doing the DNA, and the DNA shows that these are Celtic people, and also that they were the ones that invented the hippodrome. You know, all of those arenas that they used to have all this gladiator stuff in, you know, in Rome. Those were all things that were built by the Celts. They had all of these huge old world structures. Those were their schools. You came up in families and you learned the trade of your parents, just like Jesus. He learned the trade from his family. They were all stonemasons. You know, carpenters is what they called them, but I believe they were stonemasons. Yes, let's go ahead and pollute the job that Jesus was doing. He was a stonemason by trade because it was his family's trade. And everybody learned these trades. And that's why you'll find in a lot of these really old world structures that they didn't have kitchens in each of the rooms or in the apartments or whatever you want to say. They communally ate. They ate communally. And they also were metal urchins, like the best. That's why you have a lot of these old courthouses that are still here that have metal roofs. Those are all Celts. And if you go to St. Petersburg, I mean, that'll just show you right there. If you go downtown, there's an arcade down there, an arcade that's a skyscraper that has all of these Miriam kings. They're portraits that are engraved in stone all over the building. I did a short on it, the Miriam kings, because they worship the sun. They worship the sun because they believe that the sun is a living entity, just like the planet. Mother Earth is a living entity, and the sun is a living entity, and they worship the sun. You know, it just blows me away that things have been so convoluted by the Roman Catholic Church. And you know, the Roman Catholic Church stole all of the relics from Ireland. And that's why you got those 5 miles of tunnels underneath the Vatican that has all of this information that nobody has the access to. Well, guess what? That's the truth about this whole situation, where it all came from. And it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake at all that you have a lot of people, you know, a lot of African people that came from Northern Africa, and people that settled around the Mediterranean basin. They ended up in the Iberian Peninsula. They were here. That those people, the Irish people and the black people, became slaves, is to try to bury the knowledge. You know, you had the Berbers. These were all offshoots of the Celtic people. All these Celtic people lived together, and they had an amazing society. And if you go and look up the Brehon laws, I mean, even with the Brehon practices, I mean, they didn't put people in jail. They didn't have a criminal system like that. People had to pay restitution. That's why you had an extremely tight family unit that was called a clan. They were called clans because you had the head of the clan, and he was responsible for everybody's behavior. And if you effed up and you did something wrong, you had to make restitution for it. You know, if people had to do restitution for everything, the criminal acts that they were doing, I think that'd be a great deterrent instead of locking people up and making a business out of putting people in jail. And then planting the seeds for criminal activity in neighborhoods like addiction, drugs, all kind of stuff, poverty, you know. And as long as we have people that continually live on subsidies, you know, and we have people's health is going into the shitter, people are not going to have the energy to pick up themselves by their bootstraps and start doing for themselves. We got to get back to communities here, folks. You know, what do you think's going to happen to the internet? What do you think's going to happen to the internet when so much of this stuff comes out? You can only get 3 strikes on YouTube, but you can only censor people for so long, and the news is going to keep getting out there. The people are going to keep talking about this stuff. And when that happens, they probably just shut down the whole internet or the power grid. I mean, come on, people. You know that it's coming. You know it's coming. You know, look at all the stuff that's been going on in Congress and these hearings about, oh, banning TikTok, banning TikTok. Okay, do you think that the reason they want to ban TikTok might be because TikTok allows people to speak a little more freely and that the United States government can't control the content? That's what I think. And that's what most people think. And if you ask the kids, the younger kids, they'll tell you that's exactly the reason. And that TikTok is not the bad thing that it's been made out to be. It's just that our government can't put their little greasy fingers on it and control it, manipulate it, and twist it. They can't propagandize it. And they don't like that. You know? My founding fathers, my family that founded this country are rolling over in their grave. I am absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure. But you know, King Robert the Bruce, he had a secret group of Masons that he allowed to come into Scotland. And these Masons were the Celts, because my family is a Celtic Scotch tribe. They're the unicorn and the lion. You know, we have been is our family motto. We have been. And as long as there's some family lines that come from Robert the Bruce, they will not they'll not stand for tyranny. They'll not stand for tyranny. So I encourage everyone to go online and read The Wisdom Preserved in Bibles and Pyramids by Connor McDary, M-A-C-D-A-R-I. And if you really want to see some amazing work, I would really encourage you to go on YouTube and look up. I will show you right here. Oh, I didn't put her name on there, but her name is Ayana Witch Magic. I think that's what it is. I'll have to get it and come back and let you know. She is doing some incredible work. But if you go on YouTube and you just look up The Wisdom Preserved in Bible and Pyramids, she narrates the whole book. And it's a long book, but it's worth, I listened to it overnight for 3 days straight. And I couldn't stop listening to it. It totally blew my mind. I mean, the absolute level of lies, misinformation, and theft that has been involved in the heritage of the Irish people is so disgusting. It is absolutely so disgusting. So absolutely disgusting. But I mean, even the words that are Irish were turned into Hebrew. Hebrew came from the old Irish language. And you know, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake that no one really knows how to speak Ogham anymore. Not a mistake at all. They've done everything they can to destroy the Irish people. They have been oppressed. They have been stomped on. They have been starved to death. They have been murdered. And even now, you've still got the Red Hand of Ulster that's still fighting. They're still fighting for this, you know. And my family comes from that Red Hand of Ulster. And as long as I'm breathing, I mean, my brothers don't have that privilege, you know, because they're gone. We have these sacred enzymes, these old family bloodlines that we have, you know, we have different things that are happening in our body, and we can't process the toxic chemicals. It's killing us. But I'm still here, and as long as I'm still here, I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. I'm going to bring this stuff to light, because we have to know. We have to know about the Irie, the E-I-R-E. The Irie that was changed in the Bible to Syria. So please go and check out this book and listen to it, because it will shock you and rock you. And you know, if you look at all of the unrest that's going on in Ireland right now, they're trying to turn Ireland into a wasteland, you know. And England used to be an ally of Ireland, but then they became an ally of Rome. Why do you think that King Robert's brother went on a military campaign to throw the English out of Ireland? It's because England had turned their backs on Ireland after all of that fighting, all of those wars to give Scotland and Ireland their independence, that they were infiltrated. And you can see now, I mean, you know, King Robert, he married into the Stuart family, and the Stuarts became the crown of England and Scotland. And then it all went to shit. We have the family that's there today. That every so many generations, they marry back into my family's bloodline, you know, to re-strengthen those Ulster genes, those Celtic genes. If you don't believe me, go check it out for yourself. Go check it out for yourself. So with that, it's been 15 minutes. I know it's been quite a shocker. I was very shocked, but you know what? We need to know this stuff. We need to know what the heck has been going on here and why we went from a civilization that was all-encompassing, productive, nonviolent, into total world domination and all about the whole money game, which, you know, you can check out my videos that I tried. I had a really hard time posting them, and I still didn't get all of the snippets up about the Federal Reserve and the Jekyll Island thing and how it ties in with the Titanic. How that was a backdoor deal done 2 days before Christmas, and Congress pushed through by the robber barons who print money for us. And we have no idea what's in the reserve for a gold standard. There's no gold standard. They just print money whenever they want. Then they loan it to us and we pay interest on it. We're paying interest on something that somebody is printing for us with no back gold standard. I mean, wake up, folks. Wake up. Time to wake up. Our money's not worth shit. It's not worth shit. So it's time for everybody to get their hands in the dirt, start growing their own food, and start bartering in your communities, bartering services, and cleaning up our food, cleaning up our diet, you know. And I was really hoping that RFK was, you know, going to bring on board the whole thing about the poisons and the pharmaceutical industry. But then after the little incident that happened with that rabbi in Candace Owens, and how he is defending him and calling her an anti-Semite, I mean, I just find it laughable. How can you call her an anti-Semite? The Celts were ruled, they were robbed of their entire heritage. They were robbed of their entire heritage by Israel. I mean, that's what it says in this book. So who's really an anti-Semite? Come on, give me a break. So it's been 17 minutes, and I'm sure you're still shocked, just like I'm still trying to process this after 4 days. And I encourage everybody, please check out that book. Please check it out. You know, there's a whole lot more to this whole Freemason stuff. You know, I say that there's good and bad and everything, just like in the Freemasons. They were really good Freemasons. But then they got polluted, convoluted, and perverted. You know, trying to bring back the original ways of the sun worship and not doing the work properly. You know, you can't be a vessel for channeling things that are going to make you successful and productive if you have the wrong intentions, if it's just for domination and power. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're working for the Black Lodge instead of the White Lodge, you know. So it's been 18 minutes, and I appreciate you spending that 18 minutes here with me this morning. But when you come and find me, I'll be here, because we're living in the past, present, and the future, all at the same time. So go outside today, put your feet in the grass, take off your shoes, and say, this is going to be a wonderful day. And give thanks to the Universal Father and our Divine Mother, Mother Earth. So thanks for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.